Luigi's Mansion for the Gamecube, it's my favorite game of all time. Ask anyone that knows me, they'll say the same. I've played it for hours at a time, and the first time I played it, it took me like over a month to finish. I wasn't very good. My cousin and I would spend days looking for secrets, finding treasure, and always trying to find the fastest way to beat it. He once told me that he heard a rumor that if you beat the final boss a certain amount of times, you would fight a new version of King Boo. This was before I had reliable access to the internet, and this, in my opinion, was the last true age of playground rumors and discussion regarding video games. I lost my GameCube and my copy of the game until around 2002 when I bought it at my local retro video game store for only $20. And I got a used GameCube from my mom's friend. I knew what the first thing to do was. I played that game for 8 hours straight and stayed up all night to do it. And when the sunrise was coming up, Luigi crying over Mario being okay, and the music was kicking in, it was perfect. So, when the next year arrives and Nintendo announces Luigi's Mansion 2, I lost my mind! I practically exploded with excitement. My friends at the time had to avoid me during recess because I wouldn't stop talking about it. Yeah, I grew up with Xbox friends. Why should they care about a sequel to a game from 2001 for the GameCube? Well, even if they didn't, I sure did. But as I watched the trailer again and again and read the comments from people, something finally clicked. I don't know why it took me this long to realize, but it was on 3DS and not Wii U. Let that be the first sign that something was wrong. Alright, flash forward to 2012 and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is formally announced, featuring 5 different mansions, a new lab from Professor Egad, and a new poltergust. Dark Moon looked even better than it did in the reveal trailer, and I just got even more excited. So the release date comes out, and after about a month of it being out, my dad took me to GameStop after begging him. I brought it home, I played it, and it just pissed me off! I remember my initial reaction being something like, why can't I just walk around? Why are they missions? Why didn't the collectibles do anything? So, yeah, it wasn't the sequel I was hoping for. My first gripe with the game is that it was on the 3DS. The original was made to show the graphical power of the GameCube, and I feel like there just wasn't a similar attempt here. The graphics are very appealing, do not get me wrong. I love this game's art style, it has really grown on me. But gone was the spooky atmosphere and high level of detail from the original. But let me save my rants and any complaints I have until the end. For now, let's just jump into the review with a little bit of backstory. This game was developed by Next Level Games, and if that name sounds familiar to you, then I'm glad! They're famous for the Mario Strikers series and that one Punch-Out game on the Wii, which was, very good. They're also the devs for the upcoming Luigi's Mansion 3, which I am unbelievably excited for. I already pre-ordered it and I regret nothing. Development for the game started in 2010 when Miyamoto was going around looking for trouble in Canada. He visited NLG's office and said, hey, you want to make a new Luigi's Mansion game? We can't be bothered to since we're a little busy with Kirby's epic yarn. So the task fell onto them to create a game that would utilize the 3DS's capabilities that the original couldn't. You see, for some reason, they wanted the original game to be in 3D, but the GameCube just couldn't do it. I see this as a big reason people defend this game, but I don't really care. Miyamoto would check in on them every few weeks and do his thing with what they could and couldn't do with his character. He even at one point threw out all the design bosses they had for the game just to encourage the team to come up with bosses that could only appear in Luigi's Mansion, whatever that means. So whether we lost or gained some really cool bosses is unknown, but the team pushed forward. Finally, the game released in March 2013 to critical acclaim and some confusion, with many people criticizing the mission-based structure and change in art style. But with the history out of the way, let me talk about the gameplay. Much like the first game, you control Luigi going around blasting ghosts with your Dirt Devil 5000 and gather treasure along the way. Due to the mission-based structure, freeform exploration of the mansions really isn't possible, save for a couple missions, so it's impossible to gather certain treasures on your first go-around. Speaking of treasure, their value was greatly reduced, again due to the mission-based structure. Money is now tallied per mission rather than in one big pot. You certainly aren't going to become a billionaire this time around, let me tell you. Because you aren't working towards grabbing as much money, cash is instead rewarded to you in the form of upgrades for the Poltergust 5000. And this, I really gotta give them credit for, is really great and gives all the cash you have a real purpose to it. Yeah, in the first game, it was primarily bragging rights, but it still felt great to uncover things like gold bars and jewels. Here, gold bars are given out like dollar store candy and can be found in most chests, and when you suck up ghosts if you have a high enough upgrade. But hey, speaking of ghosts, what is a ghost-catching game without them? The ones here are pretty good, and like the first game, they share some basic designs. People always seem to harp on the ghost designs here in this game, but I like them. Sure, they do look kinda generic due to the basic shape and facial structure, but you can't act like the first game also didn't reuse the same multicolored ghosts. Anyway, the ghosts. You got your standard enemies called greenies. They love pulling pranks and are basically the orange ghosts of the game. Then you got your slammers, which are big red brutes that hit like a truck and have the brain power of one too. Then you've got hiders, which are thin blue cowards that, take a guess, hide from you. Those are the three basic types, but then there's mini-boss type ghosts like the Gobbler, which eats everything in sight and are a real pain to fight. They're kinda like Slimer from Ghostbusters. Then you have sneakers, which are not shoes, but are pink ghosts capable of turning completely invisible to sneak up on you, and they're also total jerks. You've also got the golden, and sometimes blue, poltergeists, which are intelligent and powerful spirits that can play the piano and are a general annoyance. Just like the first game, there's also rare ghosts, like the golden greenies that drop boatloads of cash upon capture, and there's also the creeper, which is a weird purple gelatinous blob thing that sucks you up and you can split apart. Kind of like the blob. A lot of the time, greenies fight you with various tools or sunglasses to avoid your new strobe bulb attachment. The ghosts, this time around, can't simply be stunned with your flashlight like in the first game. You gotta stun them with the ultra bright light and then capture them. The ghosts can also get involved in puzzles, which this game really shifts towards. Unlike the first game where the puzzle element was relatively minor, here you can pretty much call it a puzzle, platformer, action, adventure game. Trademark. Copyright. Practically every room has some kind of unique puzzle in it, from turning a switch, flashing a light, cranking a wheel, finding a hidden object with your new dark light device, or simply capturing all the ghosts in the area. The music this time is also largely different. Unlike the funk synth sound from the first game, this one takes on a more orchestra-like vibe, with a big emphasis on clarinet, violin, and piano. It took some time for me to get used to it, but even now, I miss the more electronic design of the first game. Especially since the third game, super hyped still, seems to be going in the same musical direction. Also, I've said it a couple times already, but this game is mission structured to fit the more handheld, pick-up-and-play nature of the 3DS. So it's designed to be played with short bursts in mind, and I can get behind that, but it still bothers me. I really miss the free-flowing exploration aspect of the first game, which luckily the third one is going back to. It was like my favorite aspect of the first game, going around looking at the atmosphere. I think I spent like 5 minutes on that topic alone in my initial review from like 4 years ago. This game also has a multiplayer mode called the Scare Scraper, where you and a team of 3 different colored Luigis must work together to climb a tower, fight ghosts, collect treasure, find ghost dogs, or just find the exit. I'd say it was really fun, but it shortly fell out of fashion, and I could never find a consistent game. Too many people would quit after the first match, and trust me when I say this, it's impossible to complete by yourself, especially the later missions. Overall, it was fun, yeah, but it had a lot to be desired. So, now that the gameplay has been talked about, let's finally get a move on with the main story. After the events of the first game, Professor Egad moves his lab from Boo Woods to Evershade Valley in order to study a unique phenomenon of ghostly behavior. Basically, all the ghosts in this valley are nice and not evil. In fact, they're very friendly and helpful, and are more than willing to help Professor Egad with his research. This is all thanks to the Dark Moon that hangs over the sky. It's a special crystal-like thing that has a pacifying nature over the ghosts that is magic and hovers in the air on top of the normal moon. That is until a mysterious figure, King Boo, breaks the Dark Moon, causing every ghost to go into a frenzy. The professor retreats back to his lab to ask for help. Meanwhile, Luigi is sitting at home, relaxing in his armchair, after munching on some cookies when his TV starts getting all poltergeisty. He investigates and is met with Egad, who teleports him back to his lab, much to Luigi's dismay. He informs the Green Man on what to do, shows off one piece of the shattered Dark Moon, and teleports him to the gloomy manor where his makeshift lab is, along with the new Poltergust 5000 model that he was working on. In no time, Luigi gets suited up and gets back to business. A little ghost busting here, a little puzzle solving there, and a whole heap of spider webs to clean up. Luigi eventually makes his way to the basement of Gloomy Manor. This is when he's attacked by a giant mother spider who's been sending an onslaught of her kids to take over the mansion. Her being the source of the Dark Moon energy, Luigi is tasked with becoming an exterminator and handling the problem. He promptly does so, but when he attacks, a strange white ghost appears that was seemingly controlling the spider. After beating it, collecting the second piece of the Dark Moon, and avoiding an arachnophobe's worst nightmare, Luigi is told that he captured a possessor ghost who was given a fraction of the Dark Moon to guard. After being upset that his adventure isn't over already, Egad sends him to a nearby hotel known as the Haunted Towers. The Haunted Towers boasts awesome music, water-based power systems, and a lot of plants. After restoring power to the hotel, grabbing some windmill handles to open a gate, rescuing a trapped toad who was stuck in a painting somehow, battling the three sisters, the closest thing this game gets to having portrait ghosts, and viewing a trans-dimensional security camera photo, they learn that inside the photo was a rooftop pool, which is holding the special key needed to enter the hollow tree and claim the Dark Moon piece of the area. The two of them also notice that a new strange pink ghost is there, which is the sneaker, along with the presence of Booze holding a strange sack. With Booze being involved and encouraging the Valley Ghost's bad behavior, they know their quest just got a whole lot harder. In any case, they need that special key to open the door to the hollow tree. Luigi then makes his way up to the top, battles that sneaking ghost from before, and grabs the special key. That is before it's nibbled by a ghost dog named Polterpup. This pup grabs the key thinking it's playtime, and accidentally throws it out the window. It then leaves, rendering all of Luigi's hard work pointless. After a long and tedious chase, Luigi's able to get the key back, fixes it, and makes his way to the top of a hollow tree after climbing 40 flights of stairs. Here he fights another set of stairs, which is actually just a possessor ghost who took control of some stairs to try to eat him? Not really sure how that would work. Anyway, Luigi beats him, does a dance, and secures the third piece of the Dark Moon. Next up is the old Clockworks, which isn't actually a mansion, but a factory, but I like this area, so I'll let it slide. This factory is home to the finest clocks in the world. At least it was before a terrible accident occurred, causing the entire place to shut down overnight. It's the oldest location in the valley and is built on some ancient ruins that, of course, Luigi has to explore. This place is all about finding and securing the minute and hour hands of a massive clock door so you can get inside and fight the possessor ghost and claim the fourth piece. Yeah, big surprise there, you fight a possessor ghost. Didn't mean to spoil that for you, but are you really shocked? After going deep underground, finding a clock hand piece, and then claiming the piece after it was fought by an ancient poltergeist, it's time to find the second hand, which Polterpup is back and has stolen. After tracking the dog down again, the last part necessary to open the door is a spin wheel for some reason, which another Toad is tasked with safekeeping. Yeah, Egad kind of employed a lot of Toad assistants that he tends to forget are even there. And, you know, Toads, being the reliable bunch that they are, failed the mission, and he was once again trapped in a painting. You rescue him, fight a weird sneaker that has like cracks in his skin, and recover the wheel. After that, you look at another picture taken by a security camera which shows more Booze and ghosts inside the old Clockworks right behind the clock door, with another possessive and a massive shadow of that same unknown figure, King Boo, and more Booze holding that weird sack. You fight the possessor after dealing with an enemy gauntlet, secure the fourth piece of the Dark Moon, and head back to Egad's lab bunker to analyze it and find the next piece. Next is the shortest area of the game, and my personal favorite, the Secret Mine. Built on the highest peak of Evershade Valley, this abandoned snow resort houses a deep mine underground that harvests gems and strange red crystals. Arriving at the Overlook Chalet, Luigi has to find another Toad assistant that got himself trapped in a painting. He finds him inside a fishing hut, but once Toad is freed, he's overjoyed and breaks the thin ice that they're standing on and plummet underground. Thankfully, though, they manage to find an elevator that takes them back up to the chalet in no time, but not before crossing a rickety bridge where the laughter of Booze can be heard and a terrifying energy is felt below. Looking at another security photo, Luigi and Egad notice that the Booze have been harvesting these strange red crystals and are using them to beef up the Evershade ghosts to take further control over them. That same shadow of the mysterious and much larger ghost, King Boo, can also be seen giving the ghosts orders. These crystals have weird enhancing powers that can turn even the most basic specter into a force to be reckoned with. So with all the courage he has, which is not a lot, Luigi heads even further underground to put a stop to it. Once he makes his way down though, he finds he's too late, and the ghosts have already turned and the Boos have escaped. Once he captures the enhanced ghosts, Egad is finally able to locate the Dark Moon piece of the area, which is across the mountain chasm inside a cable car workshop. So, while Luigi is off dealing with some special ghosts that have sealed away access to the workshop, EGAD is off studying the newly strengthened ghosts to find out what makes them tick and how to beat them. After dealing with being gated and finally making it across the chasm, Luigi finds himself
face to face
with yet another possessor ghost, this time taking the form of an annoying giant ice monster. After several annoying shots with a bomb sled, Luigi takes out the ghost and claims the 5th piece of the Dark Moon. With 5 of the 6 pieces in their possession, Professor EGAD is not only able to pinpoint the highest ghostly energy reading of all, but also the last Dark Moon fragment. It's hidden inside the inappropriately named Treacherous Mansion, which was a giant museum owned years ago by a world-traveling explorer before they perished? It's only hinted at, really. Located on an actually treacherous and perilous perch above a massive waterfall that leaks inside a terrifying ravine, is the new base of operation for the boos and the ghosts. With another special key from EGAD, Luigi makes his way across the very thin path to the fortress, almost losing his hat and his life in the process. At the front door, I want you to guess what happens. Go ahead, guess. I will wait. I'll wait for you to guess what happens. In fact, I'll pause the video right now. Are you done thinking? Because if you guessed that Polterpup steals the key and you have to go back and get it, then you guessed correctly. What is your prize for getting the answer right? Why, a long, drawn-out chase through catacombs in a dungeon, of course. After sealing up Polterpup for good this time, Luigi is sent back to the front door where the ominous stare of King Boo greets him from the main doorway. And, okay, I'll be honest, that terrified me the very first time I saw it. The way the music blares and how huge he is, it was really scary for young me to see. Playing this game at night with no light in the room but the glow of my 3DS? Yeah, needless to say, I was creeped out. Anyway, once inside the mansion that is really not treacherous but is actually kind of calming, hence the inappropriate name, you're tasked with saving not 1, but 2 Toad assistants, the second one having been completely forgotten about EGAD altogether. Really, I know, what a great manager. To find out more information regarding the final Dark Moon piece. What they find instead is that on the second floor, on the right side of the mansion, is a train exhibit where King Boo, his minions, and Mario are holding out. That's right, that weird sack they've been carrying all over the valley is actually holding the trapped Mario, who has once again been turned into a painting. You know, I'd say I was surprised as a kid if they didn't straight up show the M on Mario's cap in like 2 of the security camera tapes. Regardless of that, staring at King Boo long enough reveals that he's been aware of what they've been doing and how they've been watching him the entire time, and he faked that picture, using his mastery of illusions and nightmares. He created that fake picture to lure Luigi into a trap. Knowing it's a trap, Luigi is convinced to get in there and save Mario regardless. Because what they think is that King Boo doesn't know that they know that there's a tiny pixelator camera inside the toy model train set. Professor EGAD is able to send Luigi there after he deals with a supercharged poltergeist anyway.
Oh yeah, got it. Wow!
And soon, the microscopic man makes his way to catch King Boo by surprise to overpower and defeat him once again. Once inside, he doesn't find Mario or King Boo, but instead the semi-return of Boo losses from the first game, now just being called Big Boo, like in Mario 64. King Boo knew that they had found him out, but actually he found them out and outsmarted their outsmarting and is now moving on with his plan. However, in all his outsmarting, he once again underestimated Luigi, who of course managed to split apart and capture Big Boo. Forced to move ahead of schedule with his plans, King Boo prepares his all-out assault on the Mushroom Kingdom. On the terrace of the treacherous mansion lies a portal that opens a gateway to another dimension, one inhabited strictly by ghosts. So in other words, he opens up a portal to hell, and is ready to take over the world by flooding the land with ghosts as his unstoppable army. Also, there's a chance that by bridging the two dimensions, it will cause a total protonic reversal, and the universe will collapse due to the high amounts of paranormality. Ready to take on the perils of hell itself, Luigi Guy reluctantly straps on the poltergust once more and heads back to clean house. And clean house he does, as literally hundreds of ghosts spill from the portal. You're tasked with going room to room and getting rid of every single ghost. This culminates in a massive battle on the terrace with dozens and dozens of powerful ghosts coming to stop you. In the words of Egad, Luigi defeating Big Boo caused King Boo to flip out and move ahead with his plans and sent that small army as a last-ditch effort to hold off Luigi so he can have a little more time with his plan. That also failed, and with no other option, Luigi heads back to the terrace to enter the portal and find Mario, the last Dark Moon Shard, and beat King Boo. Entering the portal, he finds himself in some kind of nightmare dimension where he's attacked by another possessor. This time, it splits itself into 5 copies possessing a massive suit of armor that would make even Bowser look tiny.
No. Ah! Wow! Oh.
Thanks to cartoon physics, though, Luigi's literally able to pull the rug out from under him and take him out. Claiming the final Dark Moon piece for his own, Luigi is snatched by Egad to pull him safely out of the bunker, but that doesn't happen. Only the Dark Moon fragment comes back, leaving the professor horrified. King Boo was able to interrupt the teleportation process and take Luigi back to him. Here, he's taunted and terrified by the king of all ghosts. He reveals that he was the mastermind behind everything. He was the one who broke the Dark Moon and took control over the Evershade Valley ghosts. He was the one who captured Mario, and he's the one who's been forcibly enhancing the spirits of the valley to do his bidding. Now that he's out, he promises to paint the town red, and how he can't wait to hang Professor Egad, Mario, and Luigi as paintings on his wall. He's ready to take his rightful place as ruler of the living world, and Luigi is the only one that can stop him. A frightening battle takes place as King Boo creates several illusions one after the other and attempts to squash, electrify, and bury the plumber boy, but thankfully none of them work. After barely managing to resist the pull of the poltergust twice, King Boo is finally sealed inside once again, never to show— oh wait.
Yes.
With King Boo defeated, Luigi frees his big bro, who shows off a powerfully endearing display of emotion and affection towards his brother for saving him. They even actually speak to each other.
Ah, Luigi, you saved Mario.
I did it.
Way to go.
Oh.
#1.
This really warmed my heart when I first saw the ending, and it still does looking back at it. With Mario saved, Professor Egad and the Toads bring together the shattered Dark Moon fragments, which reassemble themselves and begin to once again float high in the sky. Releasing a powerful aura that restores the ghosts back to normal, they regain their consciousness and head over to the not-so-treacherous mansion to throw a party and congratulate Luigi and friends. Even Polterpup finds his way to Luigi, who feels pretty remorseful for his actions and clearly asks for Luigi to forgive him. He does, and adopts the ghost pup to live with him, getting congratulated by Mario in the process.
Luigi. Oh,
Thanks, my bro.
thanks, Mario.
Everyone gathers around to take a group photo, and the game ends with both Luigi and Polterpup relaxing in their armchair, ready to sleep after a hard night's work. You know, I'd say this game really ends on a high note, and the final battle with King Boo was really something to behold. King Boo in the first game, while I still find him really threatening, does not hold the candle and certainly doesn't command a presence like he does in this game. You really feel his hatred and malice towards the Green Man, and how his plan is really well thought out. The execution was perfect too, but he made a mistake that many people do, which is underestimating Luigi. And honestly, I feel like that line sums up a lot of people's opinions on the entire series, underestimating. Both games are phenomenal despite what others think, but okay, I don't mean to piss on everyone's parade, I do have some gripes with this game. I know I just sang its praise, but hear me out. Okay, so at the beginning when I said that the game pissed me off, it really did the opposite. But hey, when you're young and don't get exactly what you want, you tend to get a little miffed. Also, as I said before, the three sisters of Haunted Towers are the closest this game gets to having real portrait ghosts. Everyone knows that they were the best part of the first game because of the mood they brought. They were like humans! They had their own backstories and everything. They were super interesting. Backstories in general were kind of brushed under the rug here, which is a real shame because I love the mansions and all the locations in this game. The Gloomy Manor, it was abandoned for unknown reasons and is now home to the ghosts. The Haunted Towers, run by the three sisters, who had to sell it after the plants began to take over their hotel. It turned into a massive greenhouse until the enormous hollow tree destroyed the middle tower and plant life took complete control over the area. The old Clockworks was a clock factory, big surprise, until some kind of mining accident occurred in the ancient ruins underneath, forcing everyone to leave. The secret mine, it was like some kind of hidden project under the guise of an innocent winter resort that was started and abandoned by who knows what. And the treacherous mansion was made as a collection of artifacts until the owner mysteriously perished, leaving the cliffside house to just rot away. Like I said, a lot of the atmosphere in this game is more hinted at. Honestly, I'd say missed opportunities were handled all around, especially in regards to the collectible gems. They don't do anything other than give you a little statue, which the gems don't actually contribute to. They're just carved into the base. It's the same gems, but with different colors in every area, and they aren't even worth any money, and that really sucks, because one of the best parts of the first game was getting a lot of money and stacking up jewels, and, you know, the story blows! I wanted to bring this up during the King Boo boss fight, but didn't want to sour the mood there. But King Boo's big, "Oh, it was actually me this whole time," speech is really stupid. I think it's played for laughs, but I really don't see it that well. King Boo makes appearances all through the game in those security camera photos. Anyone who played the first game, or even has a single brain cell, will recognize that it's him. I mean, for Christ's sake, you literally see him on the first level of the secret mine. Luigi and Egad the entire time are like, "Ooh, I wonder who this mysterious giant round ghost is that's controlling the Boos, the notorious soldiers of King Boo." They're both smarter than that, and it really makes me angry. Okay, I can contribute their mental shutdown to the change to more slapstick-style humor, but it still really gets on my nerves, just how stupid they're played up to be. Also, remember the ghost portrificationizer, that thing in the first game that saved Mario, and that King Boo used to free all the portrait ghosts? Yeah, as it turns out, Professor Egad sold both it and King Boo's painting at a garage sale. Are you kidding me? What are they thinking? The machine that took him 20 years to build? Oh yeah, just sell it next to my extra socks. Hey, do you want to buy this painting of the Demon King? Only $5 when you pay it up with my antique weather vane. It's really annoying how idiotic that is, and I still can't get over it. Like, honestly. But, with all the negative and Mike peeking out of the way, let me get to the positive. I know I just made fun of the game for transitioning to slapstick humor, but I really like it actually. It adds a lot of charm to the cutscenes, which this game has a lot more of. The relationship Luigi has with his surroundings is really adorable. He's a huge klutz here, and damn is it great to watch.
Hello? 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 It's me. Oh. Oh, yeah.
Also, how he reacts when Mario comes back, it's awesome.
Mario?
He's stunned that Mario fell on his face when he came out of the painting, as if he expected him to come out with a flying triple backwards long jump or something. And how he looked at him for slight approval to move on with the Dark Moon reformation. I mean, look at him. He nods as if he's ready to just hand off the pieces for Mario to do it for him, since, you know, he's typically the hero. It really melts my heart. I'd say the thing that shines the most in this game are the gameplay, the personality, and definitely the charm. Sure, the scary atmosphere of the first game is gone, but it doesn't really matter to me anymore. This is its own game with its own look and feel, and I can really appreciate this game for what it does, and what it is in general. I'd pop this game in anytime. I mean, what's better to be played right after the original on Halloween night anyway? So, speaking of, have a happy Halloween, but stay safe, and most importantly, have fun. I'll see you guys next time with part 2 of my Lore of Team Fortress 2 video. This video was brought to you by Patreon. Without their help, I wouldn't be making any videos whatsoever. So thanks for helping me keep going. Oh, and thanks for watching this far into the video. What did you guys think about the game anyway? Be sure to comment down below on your opinions. I gotta go get my copy of Luigi's Mansion 3. Every video is canceled until I beat that game, so bye-bye. I'll see you guys in a month.